ABC is reinstating Jimmy Kimmel Live. The network suspended the host after comments he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. And the move sparked fierce debate over free speech. And Scripps News Washington correspondent Stephanie Liebergen joins us now live from the studio with me. Welcome. Thank you for being in here.
Of course.
We talked about this all afternoon yesterday, and we are hearing that, yes, he's reinstated by ABC, but there's a caveat there. There's an asterisk on that because not everybody will be able to watch Jimmy Kimmel tonight. So what do we know? Where do we stand? And help us understand that.
So we know that the two main broadcasters that came out against Kimmel's show before ABC pulled it last week, Sinclair and Nexstar, have said they will not air. They're continuing to preempt Jimmy Kimmel's show. So they are both of them are independent local ownership groups. They own ABC markets and about 60 TV markets across the country. So not everywhere, but notable major markets. Here in Washington, D.C., for example,
right.
Our local ABC affiliate is owned by Sinclair. So Jimmy Kimmel Live will not be airing in Washington, D.C. tonight live at 11:30 Eastern when he's scheduled. So the Sinclair especially had a number of demands for Kimmel. They wanted a direct apology to the Kirk family. They wanted donations to the family and to Turning Point USA, Kirk's organization. And they wanted formal discussions with ABC. It seems at the very least those discussions with the big parent network, ABC, are happening. In the statement we got from Sinclair, they said those discussions are ongoing and we will evaluate the show's potential return. So he's not off forever. Everything is kind of still in the works and still in flux. But we're talking about not only here in D.C., but major markets. Some big Nexstar markets are Nashville, Salt Lake City, New Orleans. Other Sinclair markets include their bigger ones, Seattle, Portland, Oregon, St. Louis. So we're talking, major markets across the country. The thing I don't have an answer for just yet, and I've sent out some emails to request some info, is what this means for people who stream their local station.
Which so many people do.
Right. So Hulu, for example. I bring this up because of the example of football games, for example. When you are watching your Sunday football games, if you watch it on Hulu, what you see on Hulu is dependent on what is available in your local market. So I've reached out to both Hulu and Google, the parent company of YouTube TV, to find out if the local market blackout of Kimmel's show for Sinclair and Nexstar, if that will impact people who stream in those local markets. I'm still waiting to hear back.
And I know there's also some confusion there too, because like on my Hulu, I can watch our local market, but I could also watch New York, their feed. So there might be some options and workarounds there. But can you break us down like why that is? For those of us who work in TV and who worked in local news, like you and I both did, we know the structure quite well, but not everybody understands like why ABC doesn't necessarily control their local ABC affiliate.
Exactly. So ABC creates the programming, for example, like Jimmy Kimmel Live, their entertainment division. It's also worth noting there's ABC News, and then there's an ABC Entertainment division, which is separate. So the local network affiliates broadcast kind of under that parent company umbrella, but the local owners control what the stations air. That's what we're seeing with Nexstar and Sinclair, saying that they are not going to air, they're going to preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live and put something else on. Sinclair, for example, says they're going to put on additional news programming, and they are making that decision, citing that they are doing what's best for their local viewers. It's also worth noting that the broadcast stations, the big four, your ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, they have a different set of rules than your cable stations, than something else. Those broadcast stations have to work in what's called the public interest. They have a different set of rules versus cable and streaming. Think about things like nudity and language.
Foul language, yeah.
The foul language. The rules are different for your local big four than they are for cable and for streaming. So the question also remains, how are local viewers going to react in these markets? Are they going to come out against the decision on, in social media comments? For example, I've seen a lot for our DC station here, a lot of angry comments on their Facebook post. How many people are calling the newsroom, are calling their local station to either support or disapprove of the decision to preempt Jimmy Kimmel, and will this impact their advertising revenue? Will advertisers stay away from those local markets because of this Jimmy Kimmel decision, which of course there's business impacts as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces that all kind of intertwine to impact what people will ultimately see.
And different pressure campaigns. I've seen people on social media say, if you're mad about this, call the advertisers on your local station. Like, watch the local station, see who's advertising, and call them. I mean, we're seeing campaigns like that, and then we're seeing campaigns saying, hey, stand with these stations, stand with Sinclair. So how about the Trump administration? How have they responded at all to this news that Kimmel's coming back tonight?
So we haven't gotten anything publicly yet from the president, from the vice president. Both of the times when I would have expected President Trump to comment, when he was departing the White House, heading to New York yesterday, the president did not take any questions from the White House press corps. We have heard a social media post from Brendan Carr, the head of the FCC, who kind of lit the fire underneath this controversy surrounding Jimmy Kimmel. And I want to read a portion of what Carr put on social media. It was an X post where he is supporting the decision, and he said, quote, notably, this is the first time recently that any local TV stations have pushed back on national programmer like Disney. That is a good thing, because we want empowered local TV stations. After all, local TV stations, not the national programmers, have that public interest obligations, and they should be making decisions that, in their view, meets the needs of their local communities. That's what similar comments that we heard from Brendan Carr yesterday before the Kimmel news broke. He did an interview that he shared again on X, on social media, where he was stressing that he supports the idea of empowering these local affiliate owners to make the right decision, and they don't have to go along with the broadcasting and the programming that is sent out by their parent network. So at least the SEC chair is certainly supportive of the decision that Sinclair and Nexstar are making.
Okay, and lastly, we know that Jimmy Kimmel, we are hearing something from Jimmy Kimmel,
yes,
but maybe not what we expected to hear.
Not at all, actually. Just within the last 30 minutes, right before I was walking in the studio, I checked Jimmy Kimmel's social media, and he made his first post since all of this controversy landed out last week. It's a picture of him and Norman Lear, where Kimmel just says, quote, missing this guy today. So not really sure what the relationship is. I'm not a big celebrity follower. I don't know how close Jimmy Kimmel maybe was to Norman Lear, the famed TV producer. Yeah. But just a picture of the two of them that we've seen before. And of course, all eyes will be on Kimmel and his show tonight to see if he addresses the controversy. He certainly doesn't have to. He could ignore it, but I would expect he probably addresses it in some way, in some fashion. Yeah. A lot of people are going to be looking in to see what exactly he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks so much for getting us caught up. Stephanie Liebergen here in Washington, D.C.